Hey guys, welcome back to L'Amour et la Musique. Today is going to be a little bit of a departure from a beauty video, and it's because I get questions around this topic, my favorite baby related products, in my DMs a lot, whether it's from those of you that are having your first baby yourselves, or your sister or your friend or a family member is having their first baby. I do have an older 3-part Baby Essentials series on my channel, but I did it when my first baby, who was born in November of 2018, was I think not even a year old. I now have that child is about to turn 4, and my second baby is about to turn 1 on October 1st, which is really bittersweet in a lot of ways. And so I just feel like I've learned a lot more, and I wanted to do an update to my baby essentials. Now, this is really gonna cover newborn to 12 months or so. The world beyond 12 months is a whole other video. And there are also topics in this video that could be standalone videos, like around sleep and introducing solids and play and all of that. So I made quite a long list on my phone that's just really comprehensive, and I'm gonna go through everything as quickly as I can so that this video is not super long. I will try and timestamp things below in kind of the broad categories, you know, diapering, feeding, clothing, toys, books, etc. So, and I will include screenshots of things where I can. I'll do my best to link things below, but I think what I probably will just end up doing is directing you to my Amazon lists. Just kind of in the last 6 months, I put together, I think 11 or 12 lists on an Amazon shop front. It's just a nice way to quickly condense a bunch of recommendations for people. Trust me, affiliates do not make much money at all on Amazon. And I guess regardless of your personal feelings about Amazon, I think we all know how problematic it is in a lot of ways. If you are a new parent, Amazon Prime can really be a lifesaver because you don't really know what you need until you're kind of going along in the process and you need something quickly. Someone can't necessarily run out and get it right away. It's very helpful. So I'll make sure to link the past 3 baby essentials videos that I did. I think I also have an older video on Patreon about my breastfeeding journey. I'm not really gonna get into it here. There's so much to say about my struggles with breastfeeding my first and pumping, and then I had mastitis with my second baby and a lot of extenuating circumstances. But I'll kind of cover the formula and the bottles and whatnot when I get to that part. So without further ado, here are my updated baby essentials after having 2 babies. Okay, I think the first couple things that people always want to get out of the way, because it's a big investment, requires quite a bit of research, are car seat and stroller. In my opinion, hands down, the best brand is Nuna. I'm sure that will be a divisive opinion to some people. I feel like people are loyal to strollers and car seats the way, you know, adults are loyal to cars, for example. But we had gotten a Nuna Pipa car seat and an old model of a stroller that I don't think that they make anymore. If they do make something comparable, I'll link it down below. Whatever your budget is, you can get sort of whatever souped up model of a Nuna stroller car seat combination that you want. I just wanted something, you know, pretty minimal. I don't really like the big Marauder stroller wheels. It really depends on your lifestyle, like how much you're gonna be lugging it in and out of the car. Are you taking it on public transportation? Are you really just wanting to take it on walks? That kind of thing. So it really is gonna be contextual to your lifestyle. In my opinion, the stroller car seat click-in is the best. Some people like to do the bassinet as well, but the baby outgrows that really quickly. So in my opinion, you really are only gonna use it for a couple of months. But again, you know your lifestyle best. So Nuna, in my opinion, hands down the best. For a convertible car seat, your child may go into that before 12 months. Both of mine have, because I have like larger babies. They're my first baby was always kind of in the 80s percentiles, and my second baby has been in the 90s. So they have gone into the convertible sooner than other babies might. But we switched from Nuna to Kleck. We got the Kleck Flow, F-L-L-O, for our convertible, which the second baby is currently in. And then for my now preschoolers booster, we went back to Nuna. So we did Nuna, Kleck, Nuna. I just really like Nuna. What can I say? For a travel car seat, the Costco Sonera Next is very light, easy to travel with. It's not very comfortable for the kids, but if you're gonna be taking it on planes, for example, in and out of rental cars, that kind of thing, it's like $30 or $40. So that's what we've had, and it works well for us. Okay. Now, I wanted to quickly talk about the sleeping situation. So crib is obviously another thing that people immediately want to get out of the way, crib and mattress. We did get a crib and like a natural organic mattress for my first baby and a bassinet for the side of the bed. None of it worked. We co-sleep with our kids. It just is what works. Babies want to be on their parents. Their mothers, their fathers, they want to be skin to skin for, you know, that first month, really, 2 to 4 weeks. And then they really want to just be sleeping really near you. So whether you want to sidecar a crib, whether you want to do safe co-sleeping, that's a whole other topic. But basically, I don't have a crib to recommend because my kids have never really slept in them. But for my second baby, we did get a DockATot. Now, these are not advised for sleeping, but we did use the DockATot up until about 8 months or so, just to have a place to put the baby. They can take naps in it, you know, during the day, obviously, and we just found it really useful. There's also quite a good, if you keep yours in good condition, there's quite a nice resale market for them on Facebook Marketplace. So we bought one new. We sold it actually just a couple of weeks ago. And so that kind of takes down the cost because I think they're about $170 or $80 new. And you really are only going to use them for 6 to 8 months. But if I justified it because we were not doing a crib, and I did find the DockATot to be quite helpful. We do have a pack and play. I got it with my first baby. I think it's helpful. It's basically a playpen. For a period of time, I was trying to get my first baby to sleep in the pack and play and do room sharing, and then I just gave up the whole ordeal, and we just have co-slept because it's what the kids want and it's what biologically makes sense and it fits our lifestyle. I understand that it might not for everybody, right? But we do have a pack and play as just sort of now a playpen area for my about to be year-old second baby, just a safe place to put them with toys and whatnot if you're getting ready in the morning, or people do travel with these as a portable sleeping situation. Okay, next would be changing table and pad. Some people buy changing tables like a piece of furniture. For my first baby, we did a changing pad on top of a dresser. I have the Naturepedic changing pad. I think it's the same one I have now. And you do want to get some covers for those. We just have some muslin. I think they're the Aiden and Anais brand muslin covers. Again, so many varied opinions on this, but I don't know. It worked for us. And now with the second baby, I mostly am changing diapers on the bed or on the floor, like either on a playmat or the changing pad, which now just lives on the floor in the bedroom. So make of that what you will. You really don't have to be that fussy about it. You can change them in bed. It's not an issue. If they have a number 2 diaper for those first couple months, or, 6 to 8 months when they're still little enough, you can wash their bums in the sink. We talked about that with my friend Joanne. Those are old videos on my channel from 2015. We did an eco pregnancy and baby series. This was before I had children of my own, and she had just had her first baby. And those are really nice to go revisit. And she was the one who I got the idea to just, to avoid diaper rash issues, which neither of my kids have ever had diaper rash problems. You can just wash their bums with a gentle soap to avoid so much wiping and whatnot. Moving right into diapers, wipes, that kind of thing. I knew I wasn't going to be able to have the wherewithal to cloth diaper my first. I thought maybe for my second baby I would be able to, but no, because 3 weeks after I gave birth, we moved from Chicago to Lexington, Kentucky, where we are currently now, and I just had way too much on my plate. So my favorite diapers, I've tried a lot of kind of the natural ones. I like the 7th generation diapers, but even more than that, I've come to really like the Diaper brand bamboo diapers, D-Y-P-E-R. You can do subscriptions with them. I like them because they don't have any dyes on them. Like the diapers are just plain white. They're very soft and comfortable. I actually use the pull-ups as overnights for my almost 4-year-old. And so yeah, I like the Diaper brand a lot. They are a little bit more expensive than just Huggies or Pampers, but we like them. For wipes, nothing special. I've tried all of them. A lot of the natural ones like kind of suck. The 7th generation wipes I don't like. Pipette wipes I've tried. Honest wipes I've tried. Huggies natural, like all of them. We just get boxes of wipes from Costco because they fit in the wipe warmer that we had for a long period of time. Wipe warmer is definitely not an essential, but it is a nice to have, I think, especially if you're in a cold weather climate and for those first, 6 to 8 months when they're still little and extremely sensitive to stimuli. The Hiccapop wipe warmer is actually a very nice gift to give a parent. It was actually gifted to me by my former astrology teacher because it's not something I would have gotten for myself, but we did use it with both kids and it was just a really nice thing to have. And the Costco wipes fit in that wipe warmer quite nicely. I do for travel wipes, like if I just need a smaller pack to throw in my backpack. Also aside, I've never had a diaper bag or like anything. I use an Everlane backpack that I had before I had kids, and that's been my diaper bag for all these years. The Diaper brand smaller packs of wipes make nice travel wipes when you don't want to lug around like a huge pack of wipes. Diaper pail and liners if you're doing disposables. We have a Diaper Genie. It was a hand-me-down from a friend of mine, and we just get the liners, the liner refills, which are quite expensive from Target. Target does make an Up and Up brand pail liner that's like a Diaper Genie equivalent, but they really aren't quite as good. And that's not my responsibility. Kaveh, my husband, is always the one that deals with, I don't even honestly know how to change the liners in the Diaper Genie. I've totally offloaded that onto him. But according to him, the Diaper Genie brand liners really are, better. Okay, now we're kind of transitioning into clothes and just other newborn essential type of things. Onesies are obviously what you're going to want to have around for your babies, depending on what time of year that you're giving birth. You want to think about buying clothes in kind of 3-month increments. So say I had both my babies in the fall, so November and October. So I basically had their newborn phase through the winter. So all of the stuff I bought in the beginning was long sleeve, right? And suited for winter. And then when you're planning ahead, you're going to think, okay, so then I'm going to need 6 to 12 month stuff in the summer. That's when I'll buy the short sleeve stuff, right? Seems intuitive, but I guess it wasn't really that intuitive for me when I had my first baby. Gerber makes an organic onesie, so I just, stock up on either short sleeve or long sleeve plain onesies. You'll go through them, through spit up and diaper accidents and what have you, blowout diapers, the joy of a blowout diaper. And my baby, especially my second baby, when I kind of knew what I was doing a little bit more, really didn't even wear anything beyond a diaper for I feel like the first month probably. Burt's Bees also makes nice organic cotton onesies, and a lot of the fast fashion brands, make of them what you will, but Gap, H&M, that kind of thing, they have organic lines. So if you want to preference organic cotton textiles, there are kind of more affordable options to do so. You'll also need muslins, light swaddle blankets. I don't believe in swaddling babies, basically, kind of immobilizing their arms to replicate the womb. I don't think this is helpful to them at all. We did experiment with swaddling my first baby just because you're supposed to, but I'm totally against it now. But you do want blankets, right? So they're sleeping on you. You want to cover them with a blanket type of thing. And I just love the muslin blankets because they're so breathable and lightweight. Aiden and Anais from Target, very easy brand. I also have some nice swaddle receiving blanket, muslin blankets from the brand Willoughby, which I kind of splurged on for my second baby. Burp cloths, really essential in the beginning. My favorite, and I've kind of tried a bunch, I feel like are the Burt's Bees. I just like the shape of them. They wash up really well. I think they're organic cotton and they're just nice. And then after your kids are done needing a burp cloth, you can repurpose them for like rags around the house, or my husband uses them in his car care or in the garage or what have you. So okay, carriers, slings, and wraps. Again, this is a nice thing to put on a registry or to gift somebody a really beautiful carrier because they're obviously so functional. And I don't think I need to tell you about how beneficial baby wearing is. My husband and I are both like, wear the kids as long as we possibly can. I'm just a huge baby wearer. So in the beginning, for both babies, I used a Moby wrap. It was gifted to me. You can also do the brand, the Solly wrap. If you have a spring or summertime baby, go for the Solly because it's lighter weight. If you're having a fall or winter baby, and that's when they're gonna be a newborn, go for the Moby because it's thicker, but they're a very similar concept. It's very easy to learn how to do the front hug wrap. There's other kind of like pre-made newborn wraps like that, like the Catan, I think it's called. There's others, like the baby wearing field has really proliferated, right? But I think either a Moby or a Solly, then you can go into like a soft structured carrier, like the Ergo Baby is really popular, Lila Baby, those brands. I have always had a Sakura Bloom Scout. I invested in that with my first baby. It's pretty much all I've used for my second baby. I have a silk one. In retrospect, I would have gotten one with leather shoulder straps because the straps on mine have gotten completely destroyed. But it's nice. It's basically a half buckle carrier, and I have done front carries for as long as possible. I actually still do them now. My baby is probably like 26 or so pounds now, but it's really easy to learn to do back carries with, which I do now. And then my husband has always used the Infantino, which is a $30 carrier that you can get from Target or Amazon. I think it's linked actually on my Amazon page. And just actually this week, we switched to the Kinder Pack, which my first baby went into that a little bit later than this baby, who is again a little bit bigger, coming up on a year. But somewhere between 12 and 14, 15 months, you'd probably transition out of the Infantino and into something larger. And we just have the Kinder Pack standard. They also have a Kinder Pack toddler. The Kinder Pack is too big for me to wear. I'm relatively petite, but it's great if you're like 5'5" or taller, or for men, dads that are gonna be baby wearing. And Cobb has just, I think, pretty much always done back carries, but he carries the kids up until probably almost 2 years old. Around 13, 14, 15 months, they just get too big for me. Like, I'm already kind of at the brink of carrying the second baby, but I do still do it. Like if I'm gonna go to the grocery store, I'll put the baby on my back and my preschooler in the cart, and that's how I do things. I do also like slings. I did so much slinging with my first. I have not done any slinging with my second. I just have only done the Sakura Bloom Scout carrier. But for slings, I really like the Wild Bird slings. I think I have like a double linen sling from them, and I did so much slinging with my first baby. Okay, pacifiers. First baby of mine loved pacifiers. In fact, we didn't get rid of the pacifier at bedtime until like close to 3.5. We just didn't push it, and then it kind of naturally came to an end. My second baby has hated pacifiers from the minute we tried to use one. They would actually instigate like more fury and anger. I tried, several different brands, and it was just a total no-go. So after a couple months, totally gave up. And so my second baby has never ever used a pacifier. But for pacifiers, I do like the MAM, M-A-M pacifiers. That's what we used with the first baby. And then for the second baby, I had tried like these larger ones that I forget the brand name. I'll try and put them down below if I remember, but I wasted like $50 buying those when I was pregnant, just assuming the baby would want a pacifier, and turns out they don't all like them. Okay, bottles, pumping, formula, bottle warmer, this whole genre. So I pumped with both babies to very wildly different degrees. I was triple feeding both babies for a period of time, which basically means breastfeeding, pumping and bottle feeding and formula feeding. It's just, again, a whole saga. I really worked through my issues around it with my first baby and was not as hung up on it with my second baby. For bottles, I really like the Komotomo. Again, I think a lot of more brands have come on the scene even since, in the last couple of years. Komotomos I like the wide nipple that's closer to replicating a breast, right? The Life Factory bottles I like, but the nipple is so narrow. So they're a very nice glass bottle that has like a rubber casing on them, which I have a bunch of, but I end up mostly using them to mix and store formula in, and it's really nice because they're glass. But for the actual feeding, I just think the Comotomos, both of my babies liked them better. They have 3 different stages of nipples with different amount of holes and flow. And they also have a Y cut, which I've never used with either of my kids. Pumping, I had Spectra pumps, which I think are great. I liked them. Your insurance covers at least part of the cost of those. Now for formula, for my first baby who did take some formula, I did European organic brands like Luluca and Lebenswert. And I don't know, they're much harder to get now than they were 3-4 years ago. Also, there have been new laws that have come up in the EU that mandate that you have to add fish oil to baby formula, which is something I don't agree with at all. Topic for another day. But for this baby, I had more of the wherewithal to investigate making my own baby formula. I've always been freaked out by the Weston A price, and it just seems like kind of off-putting in certain ways, but I found the Mount Capra homemade goat milk formula community, and I highly recommend it. Even if your baby does not have digestive issues, say they can tolerate cow dairy just fine from newborn, which mine did. I still think goat milk is a better match for babies. It's higher in copper, and it is less allergenic. So I just think that it's a better match. The structure is closer to human breast milk. Obviously nothing replaces breast milk, but there's so many extenuating circumstances with formula. So the Mount Capra homemade goat milk is wonderful. Do not ever give your baby straight goat milk. They need to have, it's an actual recipe. So it's goat milk, lactose, ghee. There's a couple of different oils in it for the different omega ratios, molasses, which is nice for iron and trace minerals. And then there's add-ins like a probiotic and goat colostrum. And they do have a fish oil as part of the kit, but I prefer to do a cod liver oil as opposed to DHA fish oil, which I, again, not a fan of. Bottle warmer, you know, if you're doing any kind of bottles, obviously this is a really nice to have. I went through many Kinda-Cozy bottle warmers. The Kinda-Cozy bottle warmers are terrible and really expensive. Do not recommend. Go for the Tommy Tippy. I just found this randomly and I love it. It has not broken or caused me any issues or grief whatsoever. It heats really evenly, 0 problems. Can't recommend it enough. Half the price of the Kinda-Cozy. So that's the one you want. For washing baby bottles, pacifiers, anything, I have been dedicated to the Dapple. You just get it at Target. The fragrance-free Dapple bottle wash is wonderful. For laundry, I don't really do anything special. I do like the brand Zoom, and they do a baby laundry detergent. It basically has a little bit of lavender in it, but you can also just do fragrance-free, you know, whatever you want. I don't have favorite laundry detergent for non-baby laundry. I wash all our laundry together. I think with my first baby, I did do more baby specific loads, and I just don't do that now. Teething. I wrote things out on my notes, kind of just in the trajectory with which they came to my mind. And so teething kind of popped up as the next thing, but I guess because both of my kids teethed really early. My first baby got first tooth, I think around 5.5 months. And then my second baby had the first tooth already through the gums, totally unbeknownst to me. Like I wasn't really paying attention at like 3 months, like up to the nose. It was like the day after 3 months. And I was kind of shocked. It just seemed really early. I do know some babies are born with teeth, which is kind of crazy. So teething has really defined the first year for both of my kids. I wish I had known about homeopathy with my first. It is very helpful for teething pains, particularly the remedy Camellia in 30C. I think, yeah, Camellia. Now you can just go to Whole Foods or health food store and get a vial, but you would have to dissolve it because they're sort of the larger nosodes. I have a kit for homeoprophylaxis that has that remedy in it, but it's in these tiny, tiny little pellets that are made to just, you can put them inside the mouth of a baby and they're totally fine. But Boiron also makes these little liquid packets of a teething remedy, a camellia teething remedy. So you can just twist off the top and squirt it in their mouth, just like a little sugar solution with the homeopathic remedy in it. It really helps take the edge off for them. If you know it's teething and they're, you know, red in the cheeks and snotty and even a little feverish they can get with teething. It's very helpful, especially at bedtime or nap time, to just get them to relax. You can try tinctures. I don't know. I don't find that kids really want anything kind of rubbed on their gums. Definitely avoid any of the numbing gels. You do not want to use those, in my opinion. Maybe they help, but I don't really think you want to like numb out your kid's mouth, especially if they're eating. If they've already been like introduced to eating solids and stuff, it can present a choking hazard. But there are some natural herbal tinctures that I've had around from the company Herblore and the company Earthly. They do some gentle teething tinctures, so you can just take a drop and rub it on the gums. And then teething toys, of course. I think I have a couple linked on Amazon, the brand Green Sprouts. I have some teething toys from, and just these nice kind of natural rubber teething balls I have found to be the most helpful. You can do things in the freezer. I don't know, it's like I don't have like the wherewithal, I guess, to plan ahead and do that. And I don't really find that kids want to hold something that's freezing cold. So some people really like those amber beaded necklaces or things like that. I have never done that, so I can't comment on it. Okay, monitor, sound machine, and then bath are kind of the next couple things I have. Monitor, people will debate whether or not this is an essential. For us, it is, because I'm not going to bed when my kids are going to bed. And I guess especially because they're sleeping not in a crib, we have to be able to keep an eye on them. So we have an infant optics monitor. It was gifted with my first baby. I like it. The most important thing with a monitor is you have to avoid one that is Wi-Fi enabled, because these are hackable and it's just dangerous. Like, someone can hack into your baby monitor. That is psychotic and disgusting that there are people out there trying to do this. There have been reports of people talking to babies through these monitors, like really sickos, right? So the infant optics, not Wi-Fi enabled. And I personally would avoid anything that puts a sensor on your baby. I'm very against biometric surveillance, which is basically what I think those things are. I think they sell them to you in a way that it's for safety. It's like monitoring their breathing and their heartbeat and all this stuff. I think, oh my God, I didn't even think this was gonna come up, but the whole SIDS and the way that they try and scare parents that your baby's just gonna die in their sleep. Yes, like, I understand that so sadly sometimes this happens, but there's a lot of things I'm not gonna mention in this video that can be extenuating circumstances that are related to that. So yeah, co-sleeping is actually very, very protective against SIDS. Your baby, it helps to regulate them being near you. It just makes biological sense, doesn't it? That your baby is meant to be on you or near you, and that helps regulate their nervous system, their breathing, their heart, all of that. Okay, sound machine. I never thought I would need one of these, but they're very helpful. We have two from the brand Dome, D-O-H-M. You'll probably, if you've ever been in a therapist's office, these are often the white noise machines that they have. I like it. I don't want to use an app, because those are like a synthetic sound, like an artificial tech generated sound. I don't think that's particularly healthy or beneficial. With my first baby, I did use some apps like in the car, just for like white noise, but yeah, I don't know, with the second baby I didn't, but we do have two Dome sound machines and I think they're wonderful. Okay, so for bath, baby bathtub was a hand-me-down given to us by a friend. It was just, I don't even know where it was from, but I would check out like a Bed Bath & Beyond for a baby bathtub. And Bed Bath & Beyond also sells this really nice sponge. It's like a sponge that you put in a baby bathtub, because a lot of the baby bathtubs are like a hard plastic. And so the sponge is just a really nice cushion for them. And then whenever you can transition them to just sitting up in the real tub. I've seen things where you can basically get like a sit-me-up for the bathtub. We never had anything like that, but baby bathtub is a nice to have with the sponge. For bath soap, I didn't even use soap for the first, I don't even know like how many months, except on the bum. But As they get older and you want to introduce gentle soap, I really like the Babo Botanicals sensitive skin stuff, or the LAMOUR Mongolia soaps, or any kind of very gentle animal fat-based soap is great, like a goat milk soap or a tallow soap, that kind of stuff. I just love the LAMOUR Mongolia soaps a lot. Okay, I'm like maybe halfway through. I still have clothes, toys, books, and then feeding stuff. Okay, clothes could be its whole own thing. People have their own taste with baby clothes. You'll probably get gifted a fair amount of clothes because it's a very easy thing for people to give. My favorite 4 brands I listed here are Loved Baby, especially for newborn. They are button is the problem, but they're these like beautiful, it's really nice if you have a wintertime newborn because they're just, I don't know, the quality of them is so beautiful. Childhood's Clothing, Mini Mioche, and Kate Quinn are 3 other favorite brands of mine. For all ages. Like I still, not Kate Quinn, but Childhood's Clothing and Mini Mioche, I love up through, you know, the preschool and young child age. Really nice baby clothes. I mean, there's so many others. Kiki Pants makes really nice footy pajamas. Hannah Anderson, H&M, Target, they all make nice stuff. And yeah, clothes is its whole own thing. Okay, toys and books. Again, we could get into Waldorf philosophy, Montessori philosophy. I don't really have much of a philosophy, except I try and be kind of minimal, but some accumulation is inevitable. And we have always really prioritized books. So we have tons of books. Indestructibles, Garden Tales, and small little board books are really nice for babies. I have them all linked on Amazon. Garden Tales are nice because they have that kind of kinesthetic sensory element. They're like crunchy in the pages, you know what I mean? And they have like the different fluffy tails of the animals poking out. They're just really nice for babies. And I have some little sets of like English, Spanish board books. I think the brand is Wonder House Books. Again, linked on my Amazon. And my baby just loves taking them out of the thing, and they're just tiny little like 4x4 books, and those have been a big hit. And I have a lot of our other favorite books for younger babies, like 0 to 12 months on the Amazon Baby Essentials. And then my older kid books are on the Toddler and Beyond page. Wooden toys, of course, blocks, puzzles. Bella Luna Toys is a really nice shop. The Tot has nice stuff. I'm trying to think. Melissa and Doug wooden puzzles from Target are great. Sensory balls, I bought a set of these from the Tot with a gift certificate I had kind of recently, and both kids really like them. Again, kind of like a nice, almost teething toy too for the babies. Play mats, I do think are a nice to have. Skip Hop makes really nice kind of little baby mat activity type of centers. You will phase out of them by the time they start crawling, right? So whenever that ends up being, I would say most babies lose interest in an activity mat by, I don't know, probably 7 or 8 months, if not before. And then it is nice to have like an exercisor or a baby bouncer. I never had like a baby Bjorn. That's what I would do if I had we had just some hand-me-down bouncer type of things. And we actually still have like an exercisor that mercifully we did not have to buy. If you can get hand-me-downs of that kind of junk from friends, do it, because they're expensive and you are just going to be putting them out on the curb or giving them to Salvation Army or trying to sell them on Facebook Marketplace or storing them in the garage if you're planning on having more kids, right? So the Skip Hop, play mats for tummy time and that kind of thing. And then a nice rubber mat for, you know, when they're more mobile and they're just going to be in a playroom type of thing. I did research on this, and we have a baby care play mat. Again, it's on Amazon. It's kind of like more of a non-toxic type of material. They hold up really well, and they are kind of expensive. I think we have like a 5x8, but really nice for a playroom. Okay, last section is introducing solids. Weaning. Weaning, the word I feel is often, people misinterpret it. Weaning just means introducing solids. A lot of people think it means to wean them off the breast, but in my experience, that's not what that means. It just means introducing solids. Okay, so high chair. With my first baby, I thought we could get away with an IKEA high chair, and that thing is a pain to use. It's a pain to click the tray on and off. It's obviously very cheap. you are going to be putting your baby in this high chair 3+ times a day. And I decided kind of early on that I was going to throw money at the problem. So it's similar to strollers. There's a lot of high-end bells and whistles type of high chair situations. I ended up getting a Stokka, S-T-O-K-K-E. I love it. It's like a beautiful piece of furniture. So it's a very aesthetically, minimalist, and it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb type of high chair. Now, the issue is that I have very different eating styles between my kids. So my first baby, happy to be spoon-fed, happy to eat purees, not messy at all, really, even when we started introducing, little pincer grasp finger foods and things like that, just like never very messy. My second baby is like, food may as well be like dumping the plate of food all over. It's a very messy situation. So the Stokka is less ideal for the second situation because the straps, the little suspender looking harness straps, are not detachable, and they get messy and really gross. You basically, however often you want, would have to detach that part and soak it in a solution and clean it. I don't know. Cleaning it is a bit of a pain, but I still really like it. The tray is so easy to use. It's adjustable. They can sit in it after they're done using the actual tray. You can take the tray off and it just becomes a chair with adjustable foot and seat height where they can pull it up to the table and climb up it themselves. So it's kind of along my philosophy of fostering, independence and whatnot. Plus, if you don't have that, you're just going to be buying some sort of booster seat so they sit in a normal chair at the table, right? So I think that the Stokka is still, even with its flaws, I really like it. Okay, bibs. I'm realizing that there's just so much that goes into children, right? Okay, with my first baby, we used these little thin nylon bumpkins bibs, and I was like, why would anyone ever need to use anything else? These are perfect. And then I had a really messy eater with my second baby and found that these bibs, no matter what I did, because I would have to wring them out, get them wet and wring them out, every single one grew mold. So then I understood why I had always seen people with silicone bibs that always just looked like clunky and heavy on babies to me. I picked up 2 silicone bibs from the brand. I think the brand is La La Lollipop. I have them linked. Life-changing. I'm obsessed with them. They're so much easier to clean. Get yourself some small silicone bibs for your baby. Plates, cups. I do kind of follow a Montessori philosophy with the feeding stuff. I like to introduce weaning cups really early. With my first, we did, like the little IKEA shot glasses, the glass ones. We did have some casualties, but not bad. My second baby is more of like a thrower, so we do a silicone weaning cup type of thing. Neither of my kids has ever really taken to sippy cups, so that's not something I can really advise on, unfortunately. As far as the actual introducing of foods, my philosophy really comes from 2 books that I would recommend picking up or checking out of the library. The first is Super Nutrition for Babies, and the second is the Weston A. Price Nourishing Traditions Book of Baby and Child Care. And they follow the same philosophy, which is introducing nutrient-dense foods like egg yolks, gelatinous broth, pureed meats, roe, bone marrow. Those are like baby's first foods. High enzyme fruits, stewed fruits and vegetables, all that kind of stuff. And then delayed grain introduction. I delayed grains longer with my first. With my second, I have introduced things like corn and quinoa and rice within the last 3-4 months, but I'm holding out till after a year to do wheat. I mostly have made all baby food for both kids, but I have also supplemented with some pouches of pureed organic biodynamic fruits and vegetables. My favorite brand is White Leaf Provisions. I wish that they would do meat purees. And there is also the brand Serenity Kids. They're very expensive. They're like $3 to $5 per pouch. I have used them with my second baby, but truthfully, like not really a fan. Like the turkey, not a fan. The chicken ones, so-so. Some of the root vegetable purees, so-so. But the white leaf are just tastier, I think, for them. But the Serenity Kids, some people really like. I've never done puffs. I've never done teething biscuits or anything like that. I do think that that is kind of like baby junk food, to be honest. If you want to do finger foods for the pincer grasp type of things, you can make it yourself. You can do like little smushed peas or smushed berries or pomegranate seeds or things like that. That's the end of my list. I thought it would be nice to end on the gift that I'm getting for my second baby for this upcoming first birthday in the beginning of October. I really have always wanted a pikler triangle, which again, Montessori inspired. It's basically a climbing triangle. It's usually made of wood, and then you'll see people attach little ladders or climbing walls that double as a slide. It's just supposed to foster independent play, gross motor development, all of that stuff. I never did it with my first because there was just no real interest in climbing or being that physically motivated. But with my first, I did invest in a learning tower very early on, which I didn't include it technically in this video because to me that's more of like a 12-month and beyond type of thing, but we use the learning tower so much. It's an essential investment in my opinion when your kid is past a year old. But I ended up, for my second baby's first birthday, invested in a beautiful made in the USA pikler triangle from the brand Bunny Hopkins. I did several nights of research. I was just gonna get one from the brand Sprout, which if you're into Montessori, you would know, and call it a day. But I'm really glad I didn't. I found a really helpful article on piklers. I will link it below. And Etsy is a really popular place for these things, but a lot of the wooden kids furniture, like the learning towers and the piklers and things, come from Ukraine or Lithuania, which is fine. Our learning tower actually, I think, came from Ukraine several years ago. It's just a long ship time, and I didn't have my shiz together enough, and I needed something that was gonna ship really quickly. So that's why I went for this brand Bunny Hopkins. I got the honey maple pikler. It's also a bit of a taller pikler. So some triangles are short and kids outgrow them. So you do want to look for one that's a little bit larger. And the rainbow ladder slide. I may eventually get them the climbing wall too, but I'm really, really excited about it. I'm gonna have Kav assemble it. I'm gonna put a big bow on it. And I haven't decided what I'm gonna do for the baby's first cake. For my first baby, when he turned 1, I did a raspberry gelatin cake with homemade whipped cream because I avoided grains for longer. But I don't know, I may do some sort of homemade, like normal cake for my second baby. But anyway, I think that's gonna conclude. I realized this was just gonna be long no matter what because there's a lot to cover. Even if you don't have children yourself or you're not planning to, please feel free to share this video with women in your life that are having babies, or maybe you'll get some gift ideas if you're going to a baby shower or someone near and dear to you is having a baby. It is truly a wild ride, I will say that. 2 kids really changed my life in a way that I was entirely unprepared for. It's a totally different transition than the first child transition. They're both really special and unique, obviously, but 1 to 2 kids was so much more difficult for me than the transition to having 1 baby. But I hope that this, again, I hope it was helpful. I am sure that I have left things out. So if there's anything in particular you have a question about, please don't hesitate to ask in the comments below, and I will do my very best to get back to you or direct you to someone I know that could help. Would love to hear from you in the comments regardless, even if you're just looking forward to me getting back to beauty content. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.